Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of the eCommerce MasterPlan Virtual Summit. I think you will agree we have packed this with tips and strategies to help you achieve your goals in this weird year that we are heading into and beyond. If you've not already watched a session, then I'm going to give you the intro-y bit, which is that I am Chloe Thomas. I am the host and creator of the award-winning eCommerce MasterPlan and the marketing-focused Keep Optimizing podcasts. I'm the host of this summit, which means it's my responsibility to make sure it's an event that gives you the top quality advice and ideas you need in every session. And I've worked with every single one of our speakers to get the content spot on. And I'm with you, whether you like it or not, in every single session, making sure we get the best out of every topic. I couldn't do a marketing summit without a session on Google Ads. And it's an absolute pleasure to be bringing you one that's about such an exciting and powerful Google Ads customer retention strategy, and one that almost no one's using. Madness. It's also awesome to have our favourite Google Ads specialist here to take us through it. I've known Becky for a very long time, and I know what a great job even she and her team do for all the digital Gearbox customers. So I know this strategy is going to be gold. So let's get Becky up. Hello, Becky. How are you doing?
Hi, Chloe. I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Awesome. Always awesome to catch up with you. Always exciting for me to find out what's going on with Google Ads, because I love a bit of Google Ads, especially as this strategy is really powerful for retailers, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. I've got some examples, very retailer specific, to go through today. So yeah, it should be a good session.
Cool. In that case, I'm going to go and disappear and hand over to you to take everyone through it. So Becky, it's all yours.
Brilliant. Well, let's get straight to it because I'm conscious I've got 10 minutes and I've got lots to say. So yeah, for this year's summit, I wanted to talk about Google Discovery campaigns. Now, Google introduced Google Discovery campaigns as a brand new campaign type just last year as a way to help people discover and engage with brands as they scroll through their favorite content. So as consumers return time after time to find their content on the Google feeds they enjoy, it's an opportunity for them to find your brands. It gives us an opportunity to drive action from the people who know you best and are more likely to engage with it again, whether they've previously made a purchase, engaged with your YouTube channel, or just visited your website. As we approach the anniversary of their launch, it's been a year, I still see so few accounts utilising this campaign type, which is why I had to bring it to this year's summit as my recommendation, because we're starting to see this campaign type actually outperform many of the more traditional and well-known campaign types that we've spoken to you about before, such as search, shopping, and display, and particularly when used as a part of a retention strategy. So let's look at the benefits of discovery, get the right name, and its expansive reach. So you can reach up to 3 billion customers across a single campaign that pushes ads out across the YouTube home, the YouTube Watch Next feed, Google Discover, and the Gmail promotions and social tabs. Now, where Gmail was sunsetted last year as its own campaign type, discovery ads are now the only way that advertisers can actually run ads on a Gmail placement. So it's not gone, it's just a new way of doing it. And whilst video ads are still available to create on YouTube, if you don't have any video available, Discovery Ads gives you a new opportunity to get ad placements on there. And people often forget that YouTube is the second most popular search engine after Google. And the most reason that people go to YouTube are to relax or to feel entertained, and therefore perhaps they're easier to distract with a brand new discovery of your products. But let's talk about what Google Discover is quickly, as I think this is the lesser known placement actually out of all of these. So Google Discover showcases content on an individual feed that is primarily based on what Google's automated systems believe to be a good match with a user's interests based on their web and app activity. So this is a highly personalized experience. Discovery actively tunes itself to a user's interests and displays content that aligns with those interests. So let's say, for example, you're a movie buff. It will likely show you the latest film trailers, reviews, and perhaps a summary of that latest awards ceremony and the news there. It was previously called Google Now, and people can find Discover in a few ways, but it's worth noting that it's only on a mobile device. So they can find it in the Google app. And if you're an Android user, you'll see it on your browser on google.com. And on some devices, you can just swipe right from your device's home screen. Now, the second benefit of discovery campaigns is you have the ability to produce more visually engaging and rich creatives that will all be rendered natively across the various Google platforms. Google encourages users to use high impact, high resolution images that will stop consumers mid-scroll. And they encourage you to reuse imagery from existing successful media campaigns. Now, the setup process is similar to that when you're creating responsive display ads. So you can upload multiple images, and you have the option here to upload more formats. So rather than just square and landscape, you can upload square, landscape, and portrait. And this will allow Google to make the most creative canvas and put the ads out on a variety of ad placements across the various feeds. For the first time though in Google, and this is what really excites me, you can also create interactive carousel discovery ads just like the ones on Facebook, giving retailers the opportunity to showcase multiple product ranges or messages across multiple cards. So there's a couple of examples we've done for a client here. You'll see that each card must have a square and a landscape image uploaded to fit into the different sizes available. And just like with Facebook, you can point to different URLs on each card. There's a minimum requirement to have at least 2 cards, otherwise there's nothing to scroll, and you can do up to a maximum of 10. The third benefit of discovery ads is that they lean heavily on machine learning, which some people go, is that a benefit? But I'll say why. I mean, the main reason is that it makes it fairly low maintenance in terms of this campaign type. So you have to use automated bidding here. And that can be either maximize conversions, target CPA, or target ROAS to optimize your campaign bids to meet your marketing objectives. As I said, such automation, get my words out, is designed to save us time, and it allows Google to deliver optimal performance based on the marketing objective, bid, and budget that we choose. There are some features that aren't supported by this campaign type that you might be accustomed to. So when using discovery campaigns, you won't be able to adjust a lot of settings that you might do with display. For example, you can't adjust device targeting. You can't adjust placements because we've only got a few select placements here. You can't exclude placements. You can't frequency cap. You can't specify ad rotation. It's going to be leaning on its machine learning to do all this for you. So you don't need to worry about looking at it, and you've got to trust in Google. Yes, the negative is that you have to relinquish a bit of control here, and you do lose some of the rich insights on this data that we've become accustomed to. But the truth is we are continuing to see increased performance more and more when we allow Google to make more of these decisions for us. That is, as long as we are continuing to feed it with the right data in respect to having the right conversion tracking set up, and that we're also giving them realistic targets to optimize towards. So Google advised that successful discovery campaigns often start with repurposing high intent audiences. So this is things like custom intent, or more commonly used, remarketing, that you've already seen perform well on existing search, video, and display campaigns. Where setting up remarketing campaigns on the display network has for a long time been a key part to any successful PPC strategy, now is the time to revolutionize that approach by including discovery campaigns as a way to retain even more clients and potential customers in 2022. In terms of the remarketing audience you do need to have an audience size that consists of a minimum of 1,000 active visitors in the last 30 days. So depending on your traffic volumes, this will guide you as to how granular you can be with your targeting. Now on the screen, there's a few example segments that you could explore. So for example, you could target non-converting visitors and maybe try creative that highlights the benefits of buying direct with you. Or even it could showcase your best-selling products to tempt them back with a carousel ad that they may have not seen on that initial visit. Alternatively, you could target all buyers from the last year when you launch any new ranges or products that you think would be of interest to your past customers. There really are lots of options for you to get creative and smarter with your retention strategies. And the addition of discovery allows you to get much more creative with your ad content too. So you're probably now wanting some evidence of this in action. I did promise you this. So let's have a look at a couple of examples of how our clients have benefited from discovery at Digital Gearbox. So my first example comes from a client that we worked with in Q4 last year, and they manufacture a product that is popular for gifting. They wanted to invest more in some top of funnel advertising with display ads, but they knew they needed to combine that with an increase in remarketing activity to nurture and convert those first-time visitors into customers. We launched some new display remarketing ads along with some discovery remarketing ads to the same audiences. And this is what we found. So we saw the reach on discovery ads is lower than that of traditional display ads. The average CPC for discovery was higher, but we were using a manual CPC bidding strategy on display, which kept the bids very low, whilst discovery used max conversion. Click-through rates were much higher on the discovery ads, as were conversion rates, and they were actually able to make profitable direct sales here, unlike they were with the display ads, where the cost per conversion was double. I should add that they were importing conversion data from Google Analytics, which wasn't ideal because we weren't able to track view-through impact. So the point I'm really trying to make here is that even if traditional remarketing hasn't worked for you in the past, discovery is worth testing. With discovery, we were able to showcase far more product lines than we'd been able to previously, and we could do that with the carousel ads. The carousel ads actually had a 1.9% conversion rate and a cost per conversion of £17.62. So you can see just how much better they worked for this client. Another example is a client that already had a successful display remarketing campaign. They sell specialist high quality lights. And we replicated the same strategy in terms of the remarketing segments, images and messaging that they were already having success with on the display network, but with discovery. Again, we found the reach to be lower, but the click-through rate was higher. The average CPC was only marginally higher this time as we were using automated bidding for the display. And whilst the conversion rate was actually lower, the discovery ads had a much lower cost per conversion and a better cost percentage of sales, making them much more profitable. So the addition of discovery into the strategy helped add nearly £4,000 worth of direct sales for this client this year, with an additional £4,000 on top with view-through sales included. So hopefully you can see the benefits there. Just to give you my top tips to finish up, make sure your conversion tracking is set up correctly. Where discovery relies on automated bidding, you need to make sure that the key conversion is tracking accurately and being counted in your conversions. Without this, it's not going to be able to optimize accurately. Give the campaigns enough time to learn and optimize. So if you make any changes, there may be minor performance fluctuations. So you need to give Google time to learn and adjust. So they suggest 2 to 3 weeks before making any adjustments. Understand your attribution window. So if you've got a longer lead time, do factor this in. Don't just assume it's not working. Give your data enough time to collect. And consider that a number of factors affect your results over a period of time. So don't just test it once, test it a couple of times at different times of the year. And finally, just because of a lot of the optimization is automated, doesn't mean you should set and forget these campaigns. Make sure you are reviewing performance and monitoring the reports to help you make key decisions about how to optimize these campaigns. And that's it. I've run out of time, so I better bring Chloe back. But you can find us at Digital Gearbox. And thank you for that time, Chloe.
That was excellent, Becky, says Chloe, forgetting to turn on her own mic. Sorry about that, everybody. That was, so many thoughts and ideas there. So if anyone wants to find out more about it, Becky, how can they?
So you can go to our website, digitalgearbox.co.uk, or you can connect directly with me. And I suggest you do that on LinkedIn. So you can scan the QR code, or Chloe's done a lovely little link for you all on the screen there. So do connect with me. And if you'd like a free PPC consultation with myself or my team, you can request that and we'll have a direct conversation about how we can help.
Excellent. Because I think the my mind is still boggling because I was looking at that marvelous chart of all the different ways you could do this and those numbers as well. And I'm like, I want to test that. I want to test that. I want to test that. But I've got to focus because I'm not supposed to work on my own marketing here, everyone. I'm supposed to be helping out you. So let's come up with a question. And I suppose the first thing to say is I think a lot of the time, partly because remarketing campaigns have never been as strong on Google, a lot of people just do not even consider Google ads for retention activity. And this, with the numbers you were showing, in that first example, double the sales for half the cost per conversion. I mean, that's a phenomenal campaign to put out there, especially when the majority of the work is being done for you. This really is a great retention strategy.
Yeah, and I think the great change from display to discovery ads is in that ad format, and the fact, I mean, it's particular for retail, people like to see product, and whilst one image you can get a little bit of product in, having the option to do carousel ads and to really showcase a number of your products is quite exciting, and we're seeing, particularly for retail, that make a big difference to getting people back to the site and going, oh, perhaps I will buy. So yeah, it's exciting.
The opportunity to put carousel ads on YouTube and on these other locations is just it's a no-brainer test to my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Most definitely. Right. Better questions than that coming up. I've now got over my excitement. I've stopped staring at my screen grab of that. Anyone who has been quickly screen grabbing stuff off Becky's piece, do remember we have a whole ebook of the event that you can download somewhere near this video, which has screen grabs and useful things and follow-up information and the links we're sharing as well. So that's somewhere around here too. So how easy are these to set up? Because obviously we need the creative. We've got to ideally do some list stuff, or we have to if we're doing the customer retention side of this. So is this something which a Google Ads newbie can do, or do you need if you can run your own Facebook ads and create the content for those, can you create your own display campaigns?
They're relatively simple to set up. So if you've ever set up a display remarketing, is probably the best comparison. It's a very similar process. So you've got your audience set up. As long as you've nailed that bit, the discovery ad settings you have to go through, it's a question of choosing the right automated bidding strategy for you, having that target in mind for what you want to achieve out of this. So if you're going for the target CPA, knowing what that target CPA should be, or the same with the target ROAS, and then having assets. So you don't have to worry about, you don't have to be a designer, you just have to have some good images that represent your brand and product that you can upload. You can upload many images, and you can use a little crop facility that Google provides. So as long as there's some white space around your product images, it's not, and the cropping isn't going to be a problem, that's fairly easy. Things like inputting the headlines and descriptions, it goes out, it's just that Google Ads creation process, and that's it really. So I think it's relatively painless to set up. It's just making sure that you've kind of got the strategy nailed before you do that. So really knowing what segments you want to go after and what you're looking to achieve from that segment that people may find harder.
It's a bit like we said in the first session today with Gemma, on email, it's understand your goal before you get going.
Yeah, it's very exciting because you can see the click button and go, "Whoa, I'm creating!" But you need to nail that first.
Yeah, and you mentioned, that there's kind of the plus and the downsides of all the machine learning which are going into this. Obviously, is going to save us time, and the results you shared show that it's not as bad as many of us old school people think it is. But you also mentioned that we can't set and forget. So what sort of ways can we actually optimize these ads once we've got them set up?
So the more assets you upload into these creatives, so the more images you put in and the more headline variants and description variants, you get an asset level performance report, and Google will show you. It's quite frustrating, it doesn't give you the numbers, and we love the numbers here, we love the data, but it will tell you where the lesser performing assets are. So you can look at the performance there and swap things out that aren't performing as well as other assets. The audiences is really the key way to optimize these. So I showed you a whole variety of segments you can look at. if one's not performing well, as long as you've got the traffic, you might need to narrow down the selection. So rather than targeting...
Should we bring that slide back up on screen?
Oh, we can do, yeah.
So people can...
Yeah, let me...
can see what we're on about here.
Ooh,
it was one of my favourite slides, so I'm very up for
very
bringing this one back.
Yeah, so let's say you started with all visitors in the last 30 days because you didn't have enough traffic to begin with and you were just going broad. If that wasn't working so well, the thing here would be to niche down and go, okay, rather than all visitors, let's go for those who are further down the sales funnel. Let's go for the cart abandoners, for example. So it's about splicing these audiences as much as you can. It is a challenge because you do need at least 1,000 people in these segments. So it really depends on how much traffic you've got going to various pages. But just think about how you can be more selective. And obviously, the more targeted you are, the more targeted you can be with your messaging. So I've got an example here. All viewers of product category X that haven't viewed product category Y, and if you were trying to sell product category Y, it's a complementary range to product category X, that's a really nice crossover and they should be interested, so they should be engaging. But if they're not, you might want to switch out for a different audience, or in this case you might want to switch out the assets and messaging there. It's really all about the audiences and the messaging that you can focus on, rather than all the twiddly shiny settings of bids and device adjustments and all that kind of thing, because Google's going to handle that for you.
But I guess the good thing about that is it does make it easier for the more amateur runner of Google Ads to have a go at. It's not quite the potential tripwire nightmare that some other areas of Google Ads are. So I suppose that's quite a good thing. And you showed us some examples in your in those results you showed us of people who have tested both traditional display remarketing as well as discovery remarketing.
Mm-hmm.
Can we test these things side by side? If we've not used display before and we're tempted by this, should we be testing them both? Or how do those two channels play together, I suppose?
So really first of all, yes, you can absolutely test them side by side. Effectively, they're different placements now. So you don't get it isn't display ad space available, it's discovery ad space. So they're allowing you to get in front of people in different places, so they can be very complementary. And I think my advice would be to try and entwine the strategies as much as possible. And if you've already tried display remarketing, then you want to try and replicate what you're doing there first on discovery before getting too excited and going down one of these very niche segments just because you can. So yes, absolutely run them side by side. If you're doing them both for the first time together, then just follow the same strategy for both, see how they both work and compare to each other. Just the thing to bear in mind with the display network is you are going to have to go through those placements and see where the ads are actually appearing. And you need to be much more careful of things like device, because display network goes onto all these apps, and we know that the app clicks, an app pop-up accidental clicks can be a lot higher than the placements that you get with discovery. Okay,
so perfectly good to try both, but if you've done neither, safer to start with discovery.
Potentially, yeah. I think it depends on your budget. I mean, the reach, as I've said, is vast on discovery, but it's not as expansive as display. But that's not to say that all display impressions are really good ones.
It's the good old Google Ads answer. It depends, everybody.
It depends.
Well, look, Becky, thank you so much for sharing such an interesting strategy we can use for customer retention and a little bit of customer acquisition too on Google Ads. I think that's well worth everyone trying it out. Could you please let everyone listening know where they can go to find out more and where they can go to get in contact with you as well, please? And tell us a little bit more about Digital Gearbox too.
Okay, yeah, so Digital Gearbox, we are PPC specialists. So we don't just do Google ads, we also do paid social ads, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We also do Amazon advertising, and also we're just dabbling with Reddit ads as well. So if you're looking to get paid ads across the interwebs, so to speak, have a chat with us. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'll put my little QR code, or you can follow Chloe's link if you prefer to type in a link. And yeah, you can also find us at digitalgearbox.co.uk.
Nicely done. Well, Becky, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's been excellent having your advice here. So thanks for being part of this summit.
Thanks again for having me, Chloe.
Well, everyone, that is another of our summit sessions completed. I hope it's giving you some great ideas for organising your customer retention activity, and another angle you can use to improve those all-important sales from your existing customer base. Hold on to them, don't let the competition get them. And in our next session, we're going to bring you another expert who's going to bring you another brilliant way to improve your customer retention this year. Now, on screen, we've now got the link that you can share with your colleagues, because by next week, all the replays of this event are going to be available for you to watch them with your team. So if you've watched this and gone, I need to discuss this with X, send them the link, tell them to tune in for Becky's session, and then you can discuss it after they've caught up with where you're at. So ecmp.info/summit 2022. Spread that link far and wide, and let's help as many people as possible with the interesting challenges that this year is going to bring for our marketing. And I will see all of you very soon in the next session.